Welcome back to Castle Maximo, and we're gonna head to the final level before the final boss. It's a good level, a little underwhelming considering everything that came before it, but it's still good. We're gonna go ahead and skip there though because it's a long climb. We start out locked away, and we could just open the door with one of our keys, or we could bust down the wall and come in here to get a free key. I don't think that guy always drops Armageddon, but that was nice of him. This is the key-sucking level, the level that wants to eat every key you have. Now, because they don't want to make it impossible to progress, it's always possible to pick up enough keys to open every door and proceed. But that would take a very, very long time, so we're mostly just going to head toward the doors that matter, and also throw our lightning shield a whole lot. You'll notice that we already have more than enough coins to save, so getting more coins is pointless, but I'm going to end up doing it anyway. This level's biggest feature, its biggest gimmick, are these giant mechanical doors that you need a skeleton key to unlock. You know, the golden skeleton keys, no pun there. There are 6 of the big mechanical doors, I believe, but I always seem to miscount every time I try, so don't quote me on that. We would need to explore quite a few more rooms to find all the skeleton keys if we didn't have so many regular keys already stockpiled. Here's the first skeleton key for the first mechanical door. Hopefully of 6, if I have counted correctly this time. Don't be surprised if it turns out to be 7. In this next room, the key we want is straight to the left. There is a little bit of opposition, but it's nothing our lightning shield can't take care of. We have 2 methods of one-hit killing enemies on us at the moment. I want to make that clear. The key is positioned right next to one of these axe statues, but it's very easy to grab it without getting hit, since the axe only strikes on one side of the armor. This seems like a good time to mention that I don't agree with any criticisms about the pay-to-save mechanic. Because you saw that massive, massive flub I made, and that 300 coins I dropped on that shield, and we still have enough to save. Right here I do a little dance with this skeleton because I absolutely, for some reason, refuse to use my sword to hit him. I guess I was extra determined to show you how useful the lightning shield is. In spite of you already knowing, since it kills things in one hit. We didn't need to come in this room, but you know, free invincibility, because there's a wizard up ahead. That's the main reason we opened that door. I have no patience left for wizards. None of that. And this particular wizard is positioned in a really, really mean way. It is possible, in case you're curious, to dodge all of the wizard's magic bolts. You just have to be really agile. Got the skeleton key, and if we come over here, an Easter egg. Yep, when we hit this globe, Sophia's face appears. I don't know why it does, but it does. There was a potion on that table that we didn't need, but apparently I thought it was worth grabbing anyway. I like the layout of this room, even if it's not particularly challenging. Oh, this might be the level with the least platforming in the entire game, by the way. I can only think of 2 instances where deadly platforming is involved. Again, with these coffins holding so much money. And up ahead is another Dark Knight who we cannot one-hit kill with Armageddon or a lightning shield. But he doesn't really count as a normal enemy, I think. I consider him more of an obstacle, like those statues of knights with axes, because he's a lot less dynamic than every other enemy in the game. And we want to come down this hallway. Of course we have to expend a key to come down here. But this is where the skeleton key for the next big door is. It also has my favorite atmosphere of the level, after we get past these knights. Just a simple matter of waiting for them to lift their axes again. This right here is my favorite atmosphere in the level. This tightly packed corridor with the streams of light coming through. It's actually really cool. Alright, now let's go open that big door. And you're going to see right now that we can just plain old run straight past these axe guys if we time it right. They're really not a very good hazard. Those guys with spears would be genuine trouble if we couldn't just kill them using our lightning shield. After this brief attack of skeletons comes the first of 2 platforming sections in this level. And these are the most anxiety-inducing platform segments in the game. Not the hardest, mind you. But they cause the most anxiety for me because they are the last 2 platforming sections in the game. My hands literally started to shake and stuff because I've never no-death ran this game before. What if I screw up on the final level? Not so worried about any of the bosses. The worst boss to worry about was Captain Cadaver, and he's long gone. We actually have to come through this corridor to reach the next area, in spite of it not looking like the way forward, per se. But it drops us off right at the next place, so... In this hallway after the Dark Knight, there are 2 doors that lead to an underground room. There's nothing particularly special about the underground room, but it has some textures that aren't anywhere else in the game. So it's kind of important to show that to you. Also, you'll notice this is the only level of Castle Maximo that does not have the heroic theme I like so much. It's more dark and sinister, which is appropriate. Anyway, the only thing down here is armor that we have to pay for, and a lot of skeleton enemies. But we still have Armageddon with us, and we'll probably have Armageddon with us for the end of the level, and maybe even the final boss. And while we can use Armageddon's projectile attack on the final boss, it doesn't deal enough damage to be worth it. Much easier just to stab him, but we'll talk about that when we actually get there. In this hallway, which contains the skeleton key, I tried to show off and just run past all the Axe Knights again. But I ran past this couple in the wrong way, so I got hurt. But that's fine because there's another set of armor right here. While there hasn't been nearly as much armor in this level, if any free armor, even 1 bit of invincibility is plenty. Considering how incredibly powerful we are right now, invincibility is very generous. And here is the final platforming segment in the game past this big door. Everything past this platforming segment officially not worried about. Just consider that all taken care of. But if I die here, I'm dead. It's just like the Frogger section in the swamp, pretty much. And we have more than enough experience in jumping from moving platforms to stationary ones. So we should be able to do this. Just gotta make sure we're lined up with everything. Doesn't matter if it takes a while as long as we get lined up properly. Don't want to run out of coffins though, because then we won't have anywhere to jump to. Alright, last jump. That wasn't so bad. The skeleton key in this hallway is in the very last room on the right. We do have to dodge one of these spiky dolls to grab it, but we can jump over it if we have to confront it directly. We can't hurt these spiky dolls though. They're invincible. And we have 5 keys left now, which should be more than enough to get to the final boss. This big door is the last big door in the level. There's 1 more Dark Knight, and then 1 final onslaught of enemies. Then we can go ahead to fight Akili. In the next video, of course. It's just as easy to fight this guy on steps as it is anywhere else, really. The only difference is we have to jump a bit to hit his helmet. And these enemies obviously not going to be a problem.